What's up, everybody? So this is a video demonstration of me actually installing my kit on a Tokyo Marui MK23. And I'm actually going in blind on this video because I've never actually taken apart a Tokyo Marui MK23, the original MK23 before. And I made my kit designed around the MK23, but I didn't know that there will be that many differences between the TM version and the clone versions. And the clone versions being the ASG, STTI, and the SSX Norvege version. So, but yeah, in this video you can see me throwing the slide right there. You don't need that anymore. You don't need the suppressor anymore. What is it? So yeah, so I'm taking this slide out. All the parts comes 3 or 4 parts. The suppressor, the slide. The slide has a barrel spacer inside of it, and oh yeah, and this is the TM barrel unit right here. I'm taking off the shorter TM barrel, and this whole unit here is like completely different from the clone versions. And the barrel, the external barrel that just yanked off right there, is a lot shorter. The plastic hop-up housing right here that I'm holding is a lot longer. So you'll see me cut a piece of plastic off of this for the kit. And previously I stated that you had to get a clone version of the hop-up unit, but in this video I proved that you don't have to. So I'm proceeding to take apart the hop-up unit. And it's only 2 screws holding this together with the outer barrel. Alright. So I'm kind of like examining it the whole time while I'm taking everything apart. So this is the recoil guide rod. You don't need that. Recoil spring guide rod. And I have the recoil spring right there, but I'll clip that in a moment. So right now, my friend who owns the TMMK23 doesn't have anything with it. Like, he doesn't have an upgraded hop-up. He doesn't have a top dead center. He just has a bone stock MK23. So this is the hop-up unit. I'm gonna demonstrate where to cut on this. So I'm putting on the, I guess, whatever hatch that is, and I'm lining up the hop-up unit with the slide so I can know how much of plastic do I need to cut off. And that's basically just this whole spot right here. The little spot that goes into the outer barrel needs to be cut off. So I'm just using a Leatherman wave saw. I don't have any other tools but the whatever's on my table, no power tools. So I'm just hacking away and cut that little spot off. Now you don't and then again I said you don't have to do this with the clone versions, because this part is actually a lot smaller. And yes, I'm actually at a local field. This is this field's called Balls and Bruises, previously known as 5J, and the owners is actually they used to run up in Conroe area called Legends, and 5J is gonna grow for real. Like, this field's pretty freaking awesome. So anyways, I put the barrel back in, and I put the that housing that would be a top dead center on, so I can measure how much barrel do I need to cut off. And yes, I don't really recommend doing this unless you have like the right tools and the know-how to do this. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna mark the barrel where I need to cut. I'm actually gonna measure it twice just to make sure. So put it in a little pipe cutter. And then I remembered, oh shoot, I need to measure twice. So anyways, so I put it back in the hop-up unit with the plastic shroud there, so I can actually line it up perfectly. So I'm gonna actually put that little piece into the top of the slide to measure and I pinch the bottom where it needs to be cut, and then I'll put the pipe cutter on there. So I'm gonna fast forward the video here. This actually takes a while, so I'm actually fast forwarding a little bit and actually clip the video in half as well, because this clip is of me, cutting the barrels. Takes a pretty good while. So yeah, there you go, and it should come off soon. Right there. Boop. So the end of the barrel, of course, is marred and crimped from slicing, and it's an aluminum barrel, so it's really easy to cut. Brass or whatever, it'll just take a little bit longer. So this is a crowning bit, and I don't think it's called a crowning bit, but you'd use this to drill in recess on wood or metal, and that way your screw head will sit in lower and flush with the surface. And this is what I use to crown my barrels. And I'll show you how clean it looks once I'm done. It actually crowns it like perfectly. And I think crowning the barrel is actually important to do, so it has to do with the BB leaving the barrel. So let me focus with my hand. Yeah, you can see that crown is like a mirror finish almost. Yeah, and forgive my derpy looking face. I don't know what's going on today. So yes, okay. So I got the spring guide, the 3D printed spring guide that comes with the kit. I'm installing it into the hop-up unit, and the spring guide is actually universal, so that spring guide will work on the ASG or any other clones along with the TM. The only difference is you'll be cutting the spring shorter on the TM version than you are the clone versions. The clone version, I think you'll cut like a third of the spring off, or maybe less. In the TM version, you're going to cut half the spring. On these two tabs here is something the ASG version don't have. The clone versions don't have. I'm gonna nip those two off, and I'll clip them, and then I'll shave them off with my knife, because those two tabs, I guess they go into some slots on the TM version. So anyways, I'm cutting off about half of the spring. Alright, I grabbed the other half so it doesn't go flying off, but yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back in the hop-up unit. There's the stock hop-up bucking, stock barrel, clip down, the hop-up adjustment wheel, and then 2 screws. And when you're screwing these 2 screws in, remember not to over tighten them, because it is metal on plastic, and you can easily strip it out. And it's not a big deal if you strip it out, because you just get a little fatter screw if you wanted to put it in there. But it's best just not to jack that little thread up. Alright. I think I forgot to put the spring in, so you'll see me take it off again. The spring that goes underneath the dust cover or whatever the heck that thing is. So yeah, we can screw the recoil spring back on, or lack of recoil spring. But you kind of need this for the kit, just to push the slide forward. Okay, I am installing the nozzle. I might edit this out right here. The nozzle return spring fell out, so you gotta just easily put it back in. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it in the video. It's only a few seconds. Oh yeah, and there's this weird dude like sitting across. I mean, it's freaking airsoft. There's a bunch of weird people in there in the hobby. But there's this weird dude sitting at my table just talking to me the whole time. Like, bro, like, I'm freaking recording. Like, leave me alone. I try to entertain him, and a couple buddies are around. But anyways, nozzle return moves freely. So I install the barrel. Yeah, this is where I realized I needed to shave off more of these two tabs that are on the side of the hop-up unit. So you can actually see me, shaving off a large amount. I actually did both sides. I didn't notice that, but what am I? Oh yeah. So the barrel spacer here, I'll sometimes, or it depends on what barrel you're using, but I have to carve out the inside a little bit, just so the inner barrel can fit inside of that spacer. Because I guess some barrels are thicker than others, but it's okay. It's PLA, so you can carve it pretty easily. And you can see the barrel spacer goes over the inner barrel pretty easily. And cleaning up with my blade. Now, every time you slice into 3D printing material, this is PLA, you can just hit it with a lighter, and then those white marks from carving will actually go away, and it'll become smooth again. So, yep. Installing the inner barrel, and I noticed that dust right here. I clipped it out, but the dust cover tabs in the back are a little bit tight, so you want the dust cover to be, right there and there. You want that to be fitting into the notch smoothly without snagging. So this is a stock TM dust cover here. And I think for the Hadron designs or any 3D printed top dead center is actually going to fit perfectly. So I modeled it after those. Oh, there you go. I added the dust cover spring. And again, this is this completely stock hop-up unit. Like all the hop-up adjustments are completely stock. So there you go. Now I'm going to... That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I have to... The whole upper assembly is finished. Now I'm lining up the lower assembly so I can cut the lower frame there. And again, the lower frame is actually... I don't even worry about like cutting it. Like, oh, I'm bastardizing this, and this I'm never going to be able to use it again as a full-length MK23. Like, don't even worry about that, because the lower frame is only $20. So, and I noticed there's for the TM version, there's like extra tabs on the inside of the frame. I'll point it out in a moment. But right now I'm just lining up, cutting a notch so I know where to cut. There you go. Double check my measurement. Switch to my saw blade. And I'm actually going to pop out that serial number right there in a second. It's plastic, but I think it'd be nice to keep. I didn't keep it. I let my friend Mike keep it. So yeah, so hack away at the frame. And again, don't worry about this. This is only a $20 part. Like, you can just easily get a new one. And the lower part's very similar to the clone versions for TM, so it's pretty much, you can swap it out, plug and play or whatever. Alright, so now I don't have a lighter on me, so I can't like clean up the burrs, or I can clean up the burrs with the little rasp right here, the file, but to clean up the white marks after cutting and sanding, you want to use a lighter to burn them smooth. So yeah, I think it's like 109 degrees outside in Texas. It's super ridiculously hot outside. So, but yeah, it's all right. It's freaking Texas heat. Actually, speaking of Texas heat, there's a Texas heat professional paintballer, in the back. Oh, there's that weird guy. That guy's so freaking weird, but overall he's a really nice guy. He's just overly talkative and complete strangers. Okay, so these two tabs that are on the bottom, or actually, they're not really at the bottom, but they're like right next to the, I guess the middle point of the inside. You just score them. And actually, you know what? The TM slide or frame is like a weird plastic. It's extremely soft compared to the clone versions. So it's almost like wax. Not really, but you can carve away at it like very easily. my face looks ridiculous. And don't worry about me cutting myself. I'm actually classically trained, so I'm very proficient with blades or knives. And what I mean by classically trained, I mean like in the culinary world. But I've been doing this like this tinkering with things for all of my life, so I'm very, I guess, aware of where the blade is and where my hand is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The slide went on, installing the slide stop or whatever mount there, and that's it. And this suppressor here is not foam filled. I'm gonna leave that to Mike, the owner of the gun, so he can foam fill it. But yeah, this literally only took like 20 minutes, but only took 20 minutes because, you know, I'm working with an actual unfamiliar gun because I've never done it with a TM before. But yeah, it works. This would have took like 10 minutes for a ASG version. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching.